in this angle that's going to wind up being the end of your time in Mid-South.
Yeah.
So you had said you had not heard from WWF up to this point. Was
Yeah.
this what made WWF call you?
I don't think so. I don't think so. They had their eye on me a long time before that.
So when would you have gotten the call from the
I
WWF?
never did get a call. I had to make the call.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
actually, I believe it was that night. I actually went to Bill Watts to talk to him about the way things were going, and was interrupted by Terry Taylor, who had become the general manager, if you will. I don't know. I think it's a nice word for stooge. Anyway, uh,
I've heard that.
I've
I've
heard
heard that
that.
about Terry Taylor. Yes.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I went to Taylor and told him, I said, look, how come I'm being booked the third match of the night, but I go on last? Why is that? And why am I being paid like I'm going on third? Well, that's the way it is. You can like it or leave it. Well, I don't like it. And where do I stand? And that's when he told me that the plans were to make uh, DiBiase and Doc and Terry their champions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to, and Duggan, and I was going to be left out in the cold, basically. I was going to be the number 5 babyface. You fucking kidding me?
So like, and just to put into context for fans, is yes, that was a huge pop that you got right there. But like, you'd been getting these giant pops, and fans are
Yeah,
chanting for the DDT,
yeah,
and they're telling you that they don't really have a spot for you at the main event,
that's right.
despite these wild reactions.
That's right.
Just hard to wrap your
Egos,
head around.
egos will sometimes sink your ship, and they sank the ship there because that's the night that I said, okay, I give you my 2-week notice.
So that's interesting. Had you called Vince right
Nope.
after? You just knew you were going to get a job if you called Vince?
I no, I just wasn't going to put up with that shit anymore, man. I'd had enough of it.
Oh, okay. So you were ready to just say, okay, I'll do something
I was
else for a while if I
furious
have to.
when I was told I was the number 5 babyface, man. I lost my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I completely lost my shit. In hindsight, I should have kept my damn mouth shut and just said, "Okay, let's do something about this," and then go through different channels. But I let my hot head control my words, and so I quit. Told him, like, "You got 2 weeks, I'm out of here." Of course, the next day I was calling up north.
And so I find that part kind of fascinating. It's not like there were cell phones or anything in those days.
No,
Who are you calling? Are you just calling Titan Towers?
calling Vince.
Where'd you get his number? Do you remember?
I don't remember where I got his number from. I think, oh yeah, I had his number because I was booking people to Japan
Oh,
for an international company over there. And at one time, I was sending Larry Booker, one half of the Moondogs,
mm-hmm.
to Japan. Well, the Moondogs were already up there. Larry Booker was in Louisiana, but the real Moondogs were already up there. But one of them had gotten stopped at the border and wouldn't be let back across.
Oh,
So they needed another Moondog. So Vince called me asking me to release Larry Booker out of his Japanese contract to go to work for him. And I certainly said yes.
and the relationship was built.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Now, how far prior to this call now to the WWF do you think that conversation would have taken
A
place?
couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a
But
couple of years.
but in the meantime, you're lighting Mid-South on fire.
Yeah,
You've been making a name for yourself essentially anywhere you went. So, I'm
yeah,
sure to your point, you're on the radar. And so here's what's really interesting too is so you're one of the most over people in the company. That DDT is over with everybody. I saw in some of this research, I was seeing videos with fans with signs, which doesn't seem like it
yeah,
was much of a thing back in those days, but they had signs and they all said DDT on them. So like you're super over, and as we just discussed, you're helping to book.
yeah.
So you're an integral part of Mid South, whether Bill Watts would want to admit it or not.